Welcome to Lovecars, a very special edition of Lovecars where I'm joined by my esteemed colleague and racing expert, Mr. Tiff Needell, where we're going to take a look back on a very exciting and a very challenging season in the Caterham Academy Championship.
What you mean, Paul, is you're going to drag me through all the ups and downs and dramas of a season of hectic academy racing.
Sadly, there were more downs than ups, but we're going to go through it, and we're going to start right at the very beginning, the Curborough Sprint.
Well, at least we prepared you, because we set out that little item we did where we set out the curb. Well, that was my brilliant idea, obviously. We coned out the curb, we had you practising it. We were well prepared, actually, for the start of the season, and, you know, I had high hopes from the word go.
Well, so did I, and I think Curborough really was the one that I went into that as probably one of the better drivers.
Debatable.
It died quite quickly, but it was okay.
It wasn't okay. I was well impressed. Where were you, fourth or something?
Well, I was lying third until the penultimate round. Then a lot of people don't know this.
Then I had a puncture. Yes.
And my naivety.
There's always something. Every round there's something.
There is. I've got great racing driver excuses. I learned
puncture,
from the master. Number one, puncture.
Puncture at Curborough.
Before my penultimate round, I changed all 4 tyres. I put 4 brand new tyres on.
We're going to have a lot of this later on. You overthought so many things. This is the theme of the year. Your brain's too hyperactive and you overthought everything.
But it was amazing. So I did get a 4th place. Interestingly, and there's a bit of a rivalry between the 2 gaps. So for those of you who don't know, didn't follow it, you have 2 groups, white group and green group. There was a little bit of a theme all the way through who was the faster group. And it was fair to say at the beginning, and we will come on to this, but at the beginning the green group was a little bit faster because I would have won the white group.
And you were obsessed with that? Again, straight away.
I'm not obsessed with anything. I was obsessed with having a good time, which is what we did.
I agree, though. That's why I was really impressed at Curborough, because you were in with the faster group and you would have beaten all the white. You would have won a win if you'd been in the white group. You weren't.
I know. I
was impressed with Curborough.
So it should have been a podium.
Yes.
It possibly should have been a podium. Ian Harris took a surprise victory because he did nothing for the rest of the year. Jeff second by 1/1000th of a second, and then Freddie. Those 2 names that we saw all year as we were about to come on to Mallory Park next. 4th for yours truly. White group was won by Charlie Lower, but he would have come, I think, 6th or 7th if he was in the green group. Just saying, Charlie Lower.
Again, just saying again.
Then we went to the first proper race where we had 25 cars on track at the same time. Mallory Park. I love Mallory Park because it was quite an easy circuit, really. There's not many corners to learn.
No, but they're tricky corners. Again, I was impressed, but again, you started with overthinking qualifying. Because I think when you first went out, you were like 3rd after 3 laps or something. And then I thought, when he gets a clear lap, he's going to be really good. And all of a sudden, you had a clear lap, and I thought, you got a clear lap. And then you suddenly slowed, and I thought, oh, the car's broken down, and people were overtaking you. And then you got caught in traffic, and then you dropped to 10th, and I think you got back to about 6th on the grid in the end.
No, I qualified 4th at Mallory.
And I said, what was wrong with the car? What happened halfway? I was looking for a tow. This continues through the year.
Forget the tow. Anyone that's coming into the Caterham Academy,
don't worry about getting a tow. Get a clear lap.
I agree. I mean, it helps places like Silverstone.
I couldn't believe it. When I saw you slowing down when you had the clear lap, I thought, this is a bit, we're on pole at this rate.
So I qualified 4th, and then I think one of the only good things I think is unanimous that I did all season were my starts. I had a phenomenal start. Went from 4th place to 2nd place on the grid.
You could have almost got the lead on the first lap, and because your forte, well, I was very proud of you because I was through Gerard's the high. You were quicker than anybody. I mean, you did get the lead, didn't you? What happened after you got the lead?
I got the lead. I challenged for the lead. I got the lead for about 10 yards. Outbraked myself. I went off. But
it was because you missed the gear. Something to learn because you didn't get the downshift.
Yeah. You've got to heel and toe. You have to heel and toe. Just to
learn to heel and toe.
And it's really important. And all these things, such amazing learning. Amazing learning, number 1. Forget getting a toe in qualifying. Amazing learning, number 2. You've got to heel and toe, even if it's just a little blip just to get it in gear. So I missed the gear. The engine braking really affected it.
The bits coming up here, look, it was a good recovery, look there. I mean, you shot off. Swore a bit for the first time this year, not the last time this year. Rejoined.
So
you rejoined. You see all the cars going by at the hairpin there, and you sort of came back in. in about, was it 12th place or 10th?
13th place, and then I just cut my way through the pack. I'll tell you one thing.
Well, let's watch some overtakes. So the overtakes coming up now in this edit.
This would never happen. Look at it, because people got so much better. Everybody, the whole field got so much better as the time went on. I wouldn't have been able to do these sort of overtakes if I did this later.
But then, just when you're about to catch the top 3,
this
hairpin. Over enthusiastic, understeered wide, lost the front pack, got re-involved with Freddie at that stage. That's when, because you left Freddie behind.
Yeah, I did. Did you hear that? I left Freddie behind. Freddie, fast Freddie.
Race number 1, that was.
Yeah.
And that's the closest finish of the year.
It was close. But we would never have got away with that as time went on. Second proper race, Knockhill, up in Scotland. It was good. And again, so P4, there's a bit of a theme here. Again, watch this.
Who's that front row then?
Fred and Jeff.
Well, it's Fred and Jeff already. It's the Fred and Jeff show already.
I know, it really started early, didn't it? But Fred and Jeff. But in terms of starts, this was as good as it got. Look at that. Who's in front?
Squeezy.
Whoa. Oh, yes! I was so excited. I went from P4 through to P1 at Knockhill. But it was a double header at Knockhill, Saturday and Sunday, and I wasn't on the pace. It took me a while to get up to pace because I was a bit slow. So I was holding up the whole pack for about a lap and a half.
It looks good though, doesn't it? Look, Lovecars, nobody in front of you.
It was good. It was absolutely brilliant. You remember that?
This was when because I wasn't there. This was my first view of.
I was merely testing my wrist restraints because you've got to wear wrist restraints.
No, you were making a rude gesture towards a fellow competitor, which is actually against the rules.
Okay, so it wasn't my finest moment, but I managed to lead a race for about a lap and a half, and then I lost the lead, and then I regained the lead, and then I lost the lead. Then I lost the lead badly. And this is for me the first time that I realised how competitive it was going to be, because I just wasn't on the pace with these guys. They were really, really on it.
Oh, bit of unload. Oh, guys, close and tight.
See, I managed to maintain it, but Caterham racing is so hard. It's like a pack of wolves. They're behind you, and then if you make a little mistake, you open the door not just for one person. You open the door for so many people to come through when you're offline. It was good. It was a good race. It was very good learning. Sadly, I dropped the place, so started P4, went into the lead, and I finished P5. So I just wasn't on the pace. I was quite pleased with the P5. So the following day, we had it all to do again. Now, interesting, in 2022 for the season, there's another double header at Knockhill. And Knockhill is one of the only circuits in the world, I believe, that you can do it both ways. So you can go anti-clockwise and clockwise. So they're doing double header on the Saturday clockwise, on the Sunday anti-clockwise. So that would be interesting. God, it took me a while just to learn it.
I was going to say, you have to learn.
But started P5, but didn't get a great start, actually. This is probably one of my most average starts of the whole season, but it was okay. It was a good race. I actually felt quite good. Got up to P3 at one stage. Felt quite good. Thought there was a bit of a chance for a podium. And then probably the biggest crash in the Caterham season for 2021.
So Jeff and Freddie out front again, weren't they? And then do we see everything? It was a bit hidden, wasn't it, behind?
Then backed up everybody. And remember all those silly hand signals? Remember all that? I was, come on, good, let's work together, let's work together.
I remember.
Chris Fraser, he was there.
I kept telling you, stop doing all this waving, but just get your head down. Get on with it.
Mark Jones, he got so angry. I forced him wide there. I didn't force him wide, I just merely maintained my position on the track. Of course, so he was very angry. But yeah, so Jeff made a mistake.
That's because Jeff spun, didn't he?
He did. And
he still came back on ahead of you.
How Fred avoided that is just beyond me.
How come you were so far ahead? They were that far ahead, those two.
Because that's the thing as well with Caterham racing. When you get in a bit of a race, you slow each other down so much.
Yeah.
And then the other two were off. So Fred was already ordering his dinner for the evening. And then,
Do you still have nightmares of that? It's a blind crested corner for starters. You had no real warning of what was going on.
I could see it actually. I could see,
and then all of a sudden, a loop, you go, oh!
See, that's the thing. I was trying to take evasive action. I'm already thinking, it happened so quickly, as you know. Yeah. But I'm thinking it was like slow motion. I've got my podium. This is all I needed.
People are thinking too much.
I know. I think that was the biggest impact, and it's a testament to the cars, because I didn't feel a thing. I had a broken finger, but that was it. And I was ready to try
I broke my arm. with a steering wheel whiplash.
Now you tell me.
The fingers, nothing.
This is Chris Fraser's onboard, so he did kindly share his onboard with us. This is Chris Fraser, so you can see, bang, and then I think Chris probably should have, no, he couldn't have done anything about that.
No, he was disabled by then, he was just out of control.
So Fred went on to win easily. Mark Jones, who was behind me,
Oh, here we go.
got a second place.
Would have had a podium. He would have had a podium. Would have had a podium. He would have won Curborough if in the white group. He would have had a podium at Mallory.
And if I didn't have a puncture at Curborough.
Podium at Mallory if you hadn't outbrake yourself with a hairpin twice.
If I wasn't rubbish at Knockhill on the first day, I would have had a podium.
Silverstone now.
Silverstone. It's got to be an incident-free race, surely.
Is this the Grand Prix circuit one? Or
Grand Prix circuit, 50 cars, whites and greens on track together. So for the first time, can you remember what I did?
Yes.
What a plonker. You were there, of course.
Yes. Once again, you kept on worrying about your tyres. You overthought your tyres. I'll go on the wet tyres. Just to clarify, it's all the same tyres, but wet have more tread and dry, the worn down ones have better grip. So there is a choice, even though it's a single tyre formula.
So let me just add to that. My mentor, who was coming to support me on the day, decided he'd stop and have a bacon sandwich. So he missed all the qualifying, missed all the decision making in the pits, in the paddock. So
I watched it though. I was here in time to see
you were up in the BRDC having a cup of coffee in the warm while I was getting wet with the wrong tyres. And I qualified, my worst qualifying by a million miles of the whole season. I qualified 10th place overall, but I started 19th on the grid because I just had no grip. And I didn't realise, this is how naive I was, I didn't realise when it's wet, you don't go on the normal dry line, you do the complete opposite. You go on and you try and find the grip elsewhere. So
yeah, but I did watch you getting overtaken by someone doing that, and then you didn't do it, follow what they'd done. You've been overtaken someone.
All right. It's some learning, it's an academy.
But again,
if only I had somebody to teach me these things. If only I had somebody to tell me these things.
Amazing first lap though. Once again, your racing instinct early on is excellent.
So I started 19th. Again, I got a wicked start. I got a fantastic start. And I got right the way up.
See, there's 2 down, 3 down, 4 down, 5 down, going to the first corner.
So I got up with the
Who's that spinning?
That was Giles and Giles of the white group, who was very, very good and very quick, and he ended up getting the podium, which I didn't.
So now I got excited. I think you came past me. I'm here watching this with the camera crew.
So started 19th. I think I go through
10th there. There you're about 10th, I think.
But then I get even better. I get right up there. Mark Kendall had a little tussle with him. He was brilliant. He was so consistent all season, really fast. Got faster and faster actually.
This is when you lost the toe. This is where you'd caught the front 3.
That's Fred and Mark, second and third. I was with them.
You're going into the Beckett's bypass, a very complex series of corners. You have to concentrate 100%. You'd actually caught them. You're now going to toe with them because toe was important in the race. And all of a sudden, here we go into the Beckett's bypass, and any minute now you'll start waving. There we go.
Waving. Let's work together, boys.
Stop it just there. Stop it. Do you think the 2 cars ahead of you are looking in their mirrors in the middle of the Beckett's bypass? It's the most complicated high speed. They're not looking in their mirrors. They're looking ahead at the racing line. You did the wave. You lost the toe.
Not only that,
dropped into the crazy pack.
Not only that. So then, what's the straight after Beckett's?
Long straight.
A long straight.
And then 1 goes by you.
3 go past me.
2 goes by you. You're all right with them. And 3 go by you.
So not only did I miss keeping up with the fast boys, I got overtaken by 3 cars simultaneously. And then look at this, Charlie lower. How he didn't crash here is beyond me. Going into that little...
How come your camera got moved? Did you hit someone?
No, because I was so aggressive with the curbs that my camera moved. But
right, so then that was the end of that race. Good, let's move on to the next round.
Well, there is one minor incident that you might want to see before that.
Which, I just thought you finished mid-pack.
I mentioned a chap called Gareth Lucas who was in the white group, not even racing against me. Oh, I can't even watch this.
And you hit him? No.
What did the steward say? He hit me.
It was a racing incident.
Yeah, and it was, and let's just move on. It's a nothing incident. You should move on from these sort of things.
A lot of swearing that I hope we don't show again.
Shouldn't dwell on it. Well, I was lying 4th overall, Tiff, and And this guy wasn't even in my group and decided to want to have a race against me. So I was.
But he was being pressured by his second in his group.
It wasn't. They were back, and then Charlie Lower, who was two cars back, went on to win the whites and finish
a controversial part of the
overall. But Silverstone, that was done. Bit of a controversy. And it's a real shame because we're all learning. Nobody wants this to happen. But look at that.
What happened after Silverstone?
Brands Hatch.
Tough place to overtake there. Not as easy.
I was rubbish at Brands Hatch.
Yeah,
absolutely rubbish. So Brands Hatch, actually, I was leading the qualification for quite some time. Then it started to dry out a little bit more, so I qualified 5th overall. And I like Brands Hatch, but I was so nervous, Tiff, because I had that incident at Silverstone that wasn't my fault.
Knocked your confidence.
It knocked my confidence in the fact that I didn't want to hit anybody or anybody blame me, even on a 50-50 when it wasn't.
How did the start go there? Well, you're about 6th on the grid there.
Rubbish start. That was my worst start, actually.
Oh, yeah.
All the other starts being okay. So we had that funky little 360 camera on that. I like that. But I did well, got right
all
up.
All right, round outside of paddle. Nice dab of Oppo there, that was nice.
I learned from the master on that one. But then with Brands Hatch...
You're doing well. You see, no, this is a good first lap. Where did you end the first lap then? About 4th?
Yeah,
4th. 6th or 7th.
Yeah, but then, so I got past Mark Kendall, who was really quick all season, as I said.
Oh, a bit of a lunge, good, bit of a Verstappen there, bit of a max move.
See, Jeff's behind at this stage. Jeff didn't have
had a bad start. He had a terrible
Jeff
start.
Span in qualification, if you remember, down into paddock. But then, this is my defining moment. Every single race had a defining moment. I'm chasing Theo to get into 3rd, I think. And
big dab. Oh, gravel. Oh, no.
Okay, let's just cut that. The Brands Hatch was rubbish. And it got worse, actually, because then I tried a massive lunge going into Graham Hill, the left-hander.
Another max move.
And I tried a big max move.
Where is it? We got it on camera. Oh, here it comes. Where's the max move?
What? Then I bottled it. Which is even worse. I pulled out the move. I thought Chris Fraser didn't see me, and all I could think of.
Well, he probably hadn't seen you. See, Max relies on Lewis moving out of the way, and you were relying on him to move out of the way.
And it went downhill fast. I just lost. I just wasn't interested in Brands Hatch. I don't know why. Joe had a mysterious...
Who was that, Joe? Joe's having it off.
Joe was brilliant. He came into the paddock after. He said, I just had somebody attack me from behind. And we found out, and then I had another match.
Then you tapped someone else there. Oh.
That was rubbish. Brands Hatch was rubbish. Mark Williams, that was, who... I'll come on to in a minute. I'm going to give Mark a special mention at the end.
Right, well, because you clobbered him and he didn't punch you in the face.
He was this is what racing should be about. I was panicking now. Do you know what? Now I just stayed 200 metres behind him the whole race. That was where I finished. I wasn't interested. But I was panicking that he was going to want to clobber me after the race. And he couldn't possibly have been any nicer. He said, he's laughing. He said, these things happen. That's part of racing, which is, as we know, it should be the way people react to things.
I think this is the thing about Caterham, I mean, half the pack of the Caterham Academy, they're just there to drive around and have fun. They're not all who's super competitive, which I quite like.
But that's what it should be, really.
Yeah, they should be more relaxed. But I mean, the top 10 in each group, or the top 6, 7 in each group, were that. I want to win the points, I want to win the championship. But it is a nice contrast I've found, that some were just out there for the drive and, being on a racetrack.
Well, look at the Manchester boys in the white group.
Yeah,
they
the Manchester
had
boys.
A brilliant laugh. And
was it 5 of them, all bought a car each?
Yeah, and they had a brilliant laugh. And I think it's quite interesting to say, that, and I'm the first to say, the whites certainly caught up the greens, because Charlie Lower got the fastest lap overall out of whites and greens at Brands Hatch, identical conditions as well. So they definitely, I think that was a defining moment. We were faster all the way, the greens were faster all the way to Silverstone, and then Brands Hatch.
Maybe they should have the Silverstone 50 car as the last round when everybody's all up to pace. But anyway.
Yeah.
So then where did we move on to? Croft.
Croft, that was quite an interesting one. So this was your fault, actually. I wasn't even going to go to Croft. I had no plans. It was my daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
I had no plans at all. And then, so I phoned you on the Saturday night and said, look, I've spoke to Caterham. They said that I can still race on the Sunday. What do you think? And it meant leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, driving 5 hours, 4 o'clock, driving 5 hours in the Caterham with my girlfriend, then doing qualifying, 15 minutes qualifying, then racing, and then driving home again.
Didn't know the track at all.
Didn't watch any videos, didn't do any sim work, didn't do anything at all. And it was my most enjoyable race of the whole season.
Well, this is proper club racing. Because you had less ambition because you knew you started on back foot. The others had all been testing, so you know.
They'd been testing for 2 or 3 days. And actually, I didn't do too badly. We qualified 10th, which I was really pleased with. Got an okay start again. But I couldn't get the back of the circuit. All the front end was okay, but it was that tricky little bit, sunny in, sunny out, all around there. And sadly, that's the bit you need to get, because that's the bit you get overtaken on. And
but here, for opening lap, now you're going to overtake one more here. This is good. You're going to wide.
Yeah,
see, you've got the pace now. This is good. You come out of the chicane. I don't know what they call this, piff baff.
So I had a tussle the whole way. I mentioned Mark Williams in the last race. Had a tussle the whole way with Mark Williams, who did brilliantly. This guy came into Caterham racing. Never even driven to Caterham before, never been on track before, and he was, I think he'd be first to say, he wasn't the fastest at the beginning, but crikey, he really got up to speed. And I had an amazing tussle with him. I think I finished 7th overall.
Did you get him then?
No. I did overtake him a couple of times, and he always got me sunny in, sunny out, where it was impossible to then overtake again. So that was, without question, my most enjoyable race. I've never, ever been so excited about finishing 7th before. It was an amazing time. And the 5-hour journey on the way back was just cosmic.
And then we're already at the last round. It flies by. Up to Snetterton. This was the final round. It was a double header, wasn't it? You had 2 races.
It was, Snetterton. And I think it's important to say as well that the championship, we've sort of focused really on my racing, but the championship for both the white group and the green group went to the wire.
Yeah.
But Snetterton, I really enjoyed it. Qualified 4th.
Yeah.
Look at this for another start, Tiff.
Oh.
My starts were good.
Did we lead again? Only second this time.
No, I tucked in. I learned from history. I tucked in behind Fred. I didn't want to lead. Bit of argy-bargy
there's
going on
someone
behind.
flying off.
Is that Joe? No, it's not Joe.
There was another one flying off. Caterham's everywhere as usual.
I really enjoyed.
A lot of slips. So this is a circuit, the racing-wise, there's 2 big toes, aren't there? One down the main straight and one down the start-finish straight. So it's almost overtake every lap.
Now, I was right on Fred's tail, and we had a bit of a...
Now you've lost.
Okay.
What have you done there?
You know what I did there. You know what I did there.
You didn't wave at him, did you?
No, I forget. I don't do any waving anymore. So I was right on Fred's tail. What happened with my brakes, Tiff? What happened with my brakes?
You didn't press the pedal in the right
What's
moment.
it called?
No, you didn't have knock-off.
I did have brake knock-off. I had brake knock-off.
No, you got a leak.
I had a brake leak, didn't I? I don't even know what I had.
Knock-off was the theory after qualifying, because so this is even on the first lap you had a soft pedal left.
This was it. This was where it happened. This is the incident.
So let's watch
first
it
lap,
again.
first
so
corner.
You're in there.
We had a breakaway, Fred and I. No one was.
And then you're going, something happened.
And then that's where I nearly lost it. And then the whole pack, just
Fred's
in that
gone.
moment, Fred's gone. I'm backing up the whole pack, and that was it. That was.
I've forgotten about the soggy brake pedal.
Yeah, so I had a leak.
So that was another podium robbed.
That was a dead cert podium.
So Curborough, you would have won the white group. Where do we go next? Mallory, you could have easily had a podium because you were really on the pace at Mallory, but you outbraked yourself and went off, missed the gear. Then where did we go to? Then Knockhill, you could have had a podium, but you got crashed out, not your fault. Silverstone, you could have had a podium, but you just started waving at people and dropped into the other pack. Brands Hatch, you probably could. The only race you didn't really get anywhere near having a podium.
Brands Hatch, awful.
Then Snetterton, you're up there, you're second, and the bloody brakes. I don't know why they found out in the end, but they thought it was knock-off going over the curbs, but other cars did. Because that's right, you found out another tip to anyone doing case was next year. It's always good tapping the brakes with your left foot down the straights to make sure you haven't had any knock-off. And knock-off pushes the pads away from the disc. So when you first press the pedal, there's a bit of a soft before they reach the discs. So all racing cars occasionally tap the pedal. But yours actually was a tiny leak on a joint on the brake pipe.
Because I think it's fair to say, and I'm the first to put my hand up and say, I had a crash in practice that they had to rebuild the front end of my car, which is probably...
Of course, yeah, you had the off, hadn't you?
I did, what a plonker. All these things are learning. There was a oil on the road, they put that powder down.
I forgot about it. Yeah, we were explaining why you didn't get a podium. We didn't explain how you... second lap of blooming practice, you'd stuff it in the wall.
I know. Oh, it was amazing learning, wasn't it? So I didn't finish very well at Snetterton because I had no brakes. I did have brakes. I'm talking rubbish. I had brakes, but they were.
Then where'd you start the
kept coming
second
out.
race?
See, again,
Where
brakes.
did you start the second race?
7th place. So I finished 7th, started the second race 7th, and I finished the last race of the season, the second race on the Sunday. I had another really, really good start here.
Yeah.
So my starts were great, and I finished 4th overall. So I was chuffed to bits with that.
Well, that's another good battle through. Again,
James Cook, brilliant. He got his first podium, and a very well deserved. He was sneaky fast all year. He finished 3rd place behind Jeff and Freddie gave it away on the last lap. Can you believe it?
I know, he completely cocked up. I don't
Mark
know why.
Kendall out the way, local circuit. Mark Kendall. It was good. Can I give my awards out now? Is this time to give my awards out?
Well, you could give yourself the non-podium. You should have had a podium award. I mean, it is a shame when you look back at it. You know, you were more competitive than your standings really showed in the end. Where did you end up in the championship?
6th overall,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, but
I mean, you were
probably would have been 1st overall in white.
You were sort of equal third on pace. if you put the two, you know, you were like equal third on pace in general.
Mark Jones was so good on pace. I was pace on paper, fastest laps. I was there, but sadly,
You got some awards to give.
I have got some awards. Most improved driver. I've mentioned him a couple of times already. Mark Williams.
Mark Williams. Well done, Mark.
Best driver. Now, Jeff was a very worthy champion. He spent a lot of time.
But he'd been testing for a year before. Jeff did have the advantage because he got his academy car a year before, then didn't enter the championship because of COVID, and so he had a year's track day action. So he probably was the favourite from the word go, but maybe the quickest driver was.
Well, the best driver I'm going to give to, this is my awards, not yours, by the way. Best driver, Freddie Chiddix.
I can have an opinion.
Freddie
I would
Chiddix,
agree
would you
with your
there?
opinion. I'd agree with your opinion.
Most spins, let me see if you have a hazard a guess on this one.
Might be a friend of yours that's not going to be a friend of yours after Joe Pretty gets the award.
We happen to be at his very lovely paddle up rooms at the moment. Thank you very much, Joe. Most fun in the paddock. Well, you had the lads from Manchester who were brilliant, and the camaraderie in the paddock with everybody was brilliant. But Paul Castle, take a bow because he was a lot of fun to be with. The camaraderie was brilliant, wasn't it? It was
really good,
and the learning was just sensational as well. I think we all learned a lot. It was great having you around. So
a lot of music going on. People bringing girlfriends, you know, not concentrate on the racing. That was a bit of a problem I noticed. You know, as a professional driver in the past, I can see where, you know, some people get distracted, and you know, there was a lot of music and perhaps too many girlfriends.
Not too. You can never have too many girlfriends. On that note, thanks for joining. Join us next year, where we're delighted to be doing the Caterham Road Sport Challenge next year. So hopefully we will get that elusive podium. But these boys are getting far too quick for me.